Walk into almost any grocery store, and you will find a strange little miracle waiting in a carton. Dozens of smooth shells, white, brown, sometimes blue. Each one is a complete life support system designed by evolution to build a baby bird, and then we scramble it for breakfast. But here is the mystery. The world is full of animals that lay eggs. Ducks lay eggs, quail lay eggs, geese lay eggs, turtles lay eggs. Fish release millions of eggs into the sea. So why did one particular egg become so ordinary that we barely notice it? Why do chicken eggs fill our refrigerators while most animal eggs never even appear on the menu? The surprising answer is that we actually do eat many other kinds of eggs. People eat duck eggs, quail eggs, goose eggs, and fish roe in cuisines around the world. But chicken eggs became the global champion for one simple reason. Chickens and humans turned out to be an almost perfect match. To understand why, imagine you are standing in a forest thousands of years ago. You are hungry. Above you in the branches, birds are building nests. Somewhere nearby, a wild duck may have hidden a clutch of eggs in the tall grass. A turtle may have buried eggs beneath sand. Fish may have scattered tiny eggs through a rushing river. Technically, food is everywhere. But finding it is another matter entirely. Wild eggs are seasonal. They are hidden. They are protected by watchful parents. And if you take too many, there will be no birds left to lay more next year. For ancient people, eggs were a lucky discovery, not a dependable breakfast. Then came a small bird from Asia with a big talent for living near people. The domestic chicken story begins with the red jungle fowl, a bird native to parts of South and Southeast Asia. Current archaeological research suggests that the earliest clearly domestic chickens appeared in central Thailand roughly between 1650 and 1250 BCE, likely drawn toward human settlements where rice and millet created easy feeding opportunities. At first, chickens were not necessarily raised because people wanted omelets. They may have been admired, kept close to villages, used in ceremonies, valued for their bright feathers, bold behavior, and alarm calls. But humans soon noticed something remarkable. These birds were small, easy to carry, quick to reproduce, and willing to live close to homes. Most importantly, unlike a deer or a cow, a hen could provide food without being killed. That changed everything. Imagine a family with a few chickens scratching around outside. Every day, one hen might leave behind a neatly packaged meal. No hunting trip, no giant animal to slaughter, no dangerous climb into a cliffside nest. Just an egg, sitting in straw. It was one of the most convenient food inventions nature had ever made. But chickens did not always lay the way modern hens do. In the wild, a bird's eggs are precious. A mother lays a clutch, sits on it, protects it, and stops laying while she raises her chicks. That behavior is called brooding, and in nature it makes perfect sense. A wild bird that kept laying egg after egg without caring for them would be a terrible parent. Humans, however, had a different goal. Over many generations, people selected chickens that laid more often. Later, specialized breeding made that process dramatically more powerful. Research shows that modern layer chickens have been selected for far greater egg production, while brooding behavior is rare or greatly reduced in many commercial laying lines. In other words, the chicken egg on your plate is not just an egg from nature. It is the result of thousands of years of partnership, selection, farming, and human curiosity. And chickens have another advantage that is easy to miss. Size. A chicken egg is big enough to feel like a real serving of food, but small enough to be collected, packed, cooked, and transported without much trouble. Quail eggs are delicious, but tiny. You might need several just to make one snack. Goose eggs are much larger, but geese are bigger birds that need more space and generally produce fewer eggs. Turkey eggs are edible too, but turkeys are usually more valuable to farmers for producing turkey chicks or meat than for supplying everyday table eggs. Then there are ducks. Duck eggs are richer, often larger, and loved in many places. In parts of Asia and Europe, they are common foods, but ducks need different housing, water management, and farming systems than chickens. Chickens, meanwhile, are astonishingly flexible. They can live in backyards, villages, and carefully managed farms across much of the planet. That flexibility matters more than taste. Food does not become common simply because it is edible. It becomes common because people can produce it safely, reliably, affordably, and in enormous numbers. And chickens won that contest. Today, chicken eggs dominate global egg production. FAO data show that the world produced about 100 million tons of eggs in 2024, and about 94% of that total came from hens. That is not because other eggs are somehow forbidden or inedible. It is because humans built an entire food system around one highly productive bird. Think about what has to happen before an egg reaches your kitchen. A farmer needs hens. The hens need feed, shelter, water, and protection. The eggs need collecting, sorting, checking for cracks, cooling, packaging, shipping, stocking, and selling. Now imagine doing all that with wild owl eggs. First, you would have to find the nest. Then you would have to explain yourself to a very angry owl. Even if you succeeded, it would be a terrible food system. Wild animals do not produce eggs on our schedule. They do not build nests beside conveyor belts, and taking their eggs can harm their populations and disrupt ecosystems. Chickens, on the other hand, became part of human life. They are among the most widespread livestock animals because they reproduce quickly and convert feed into animal protein efficiently. But wait, what about fish eggs? That is where the story gets even stranger. Fish roe is eaten all around the world. Salmon roe can shine like orange jewels. Caviar, made from the roe of sturgeon, became famous as a luxury food. Herring, cod, carp, mullet, and many other fish also provide roe used in traditional dishes. So why does fish roe feel completely different from a chicken egg? Partly because it is different. A bird egg is one large, self-contained capsule. Shell, white, yolk, everything needed to support a growing chick. Fish roe usually comes as many tiny eggs gathered together. It can be salty, soft, bright, and intensely flavored. It is not usually something you crack into a frying pan before school. Culture decides what feels normal. In one place, a duck egg may be an everyday snack. In another, quail eggs might be served at celebrations. Somewhere else, fish roe may be a treasured delicacy. What one culture sees as ordinary food, another may see as unusual, expensive, or even mysterious. Chicken eggs became familiar not because they are the only eggs worth eating, but because familiarity is powerful. Once families know how to cook something, farmers know how to raise it, stores know how to sell it, and children grow up seeing it on the table. That food becomes part of daily life. Then the system keeps growing. There's another reason we do not eat eggs from every animal: safety. An egg may look perfectly clean and still need careful handling. The U.S. Department of Agriculture warns that shell eggs can sometimes carry salmonella bacteria, which is why eggs should be refrigerated, handled carefully, and thoroughly cooked when required. Now imagine trying to create reliable safety rules for eggs collected from thousands of wild species, in forests, wetlands, beaches, caves, and oceans. It would be almost impossible. Chicken eggs became common partly because people learned how to build systems around them. Farms, inspections, refrigeration, cartons, kitchens, recipes, and food safety guidance. The humble carton in your refrigerator is really the final step in a giant chain of human organization. And yet, beneath all that technology, the egg is still carrying out an ancient job. The yolk holds stored nutrients. The white helps provide water and protection. The shell creates a strong but breathable barrier. If fertilized and incubated, it can become a living chick. If unfertilized, it can become breakfast. That is the weird magic of an egg. It is both an everyday food and one of evolution's most elegant inventions. So, why do we eat chicken eggs but not most others? The real answer is, we eat more kinds of eggs than we think. But chicken eggs became the world's everyday egg because chickens were small, adaptable, easy to raise near people, and shaped by generations of breeding to lay often without spending long periods brooding over a nest. Their eggs were practical to collect, large enough to be useful, simple to cook, and easy to fit into a global food system. A chicken egg is not the only egg humans can eat. It is simply the egg that history, biology, farming, and habit placed within arm's reach. And the next time you crack one into a pan, take a second look. You are holding a tiny survival capsule perfected over millions of years and transformed by humans into one of the most common foods on Earth. So which egg would you try next? Duck, quail, goose, or fish roe? And what incredible everyday mystery should Andy explore next?